Namaskar, my name is Manish Kumar and I welcome all of you to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the interview question or actual interview question that was asked to me during the Walmart interview. The interview was conducted in India, so if you are watching from some other country, it may or may not be helpful for you, but yeah, I'm going to talk about all the questions that were asked to me during the interview. So let's jump to the laptop screen and we'll discuss all the questions. So I have come to the laptop screen and here you can see I have given this topic for today's video. And when I was giving interview, I had 5.5 years of experience. So you can consider like same kind of questions for the same level of experience. And I was getting interviewed for D3 role. Initially it was supposed to be D2 role, but then after considering my experience and knowledge, they moved to the D3 role. So as always, the first question is briefly introduce yourself, and here I have seen many people give the answer like they include all of the nitty and gritty of the project, like how they have done, what they have done. That I feel a little bit more during the introduction side of it. So here I have given you the crisp answer that you can follow, or if you have a better answer, you can you can go ahead with that too. So I consider like whenever I am giving interview, my introduction should be within 45 seconds to 1 minute. That's it. And this is the introduction that I used to give whenever there was this kind of question. So I briefly talk about my name and then where I am from, and whenever I was giving interview who is not from India, at that time I used to mention I'm from central part of India, something like this. Okay, and then I talk about my experience and then where I am working currently and how long I have been working here. This shows the stability, and then about little bit about last organization name. That's it. Then I'm talking about the primarily tech stack that I have utilized. These are the stacks, and then also I am stressing the part on streaming project because I have done some streaming project and I wanted to highlight that one. Apart from that, CI/CD and GeoDevOps, these things. Here if you see, I have given star marks here, and I'm saying if you have been asked to talk about your project, then you can talk about your project in a little bit detail, not too deep. But yeah, you can talk about some of the project or just one project, whichever you feel was the most complex one, and that's it. And at last I used to talk about when I got passed out from my college. So that is it. So this is the brief introduction that I used to give during this question, like briefly introduce yourself. Then the next question, of course, if you are not talking about the project side, then they are going to ask you, okay, explain one of the project that you have done, or explain the most challenging project you have done, or talk about any challenges that you have faced in your entire career. So these kind of questions they ask. So that is where I generally prefer draw.io architecture diagram. This is a tool that you can use. So I have created my version of project architecture here. Like this is what I had done in Reliance Jio. Of course all details are not here, but yeah, almost all the architectural diagrams are here, how things were being moved from one place to another, what all things were there, what all things were not there. And when I was talking or explaining the project, I used to talk about all the internal details of the project that we were doing here, right? So if you can also make this kind of project architecture, whatever architecture you have, then I think that will give you an edge while explaining all the things, and you are not missing out anything, and you are talking in a structured fashion, right? So this is the thing that I used to do here. And then after talking about, so generally in the project section they will ask you some counter question, maybe 5, 6, 10, it depends, right? And then after that we moved to the next question. That was I had to write a query. So here I had to write a SQL query which will basically, this is the question, which will find the price of all the products on a particular date of 16th August 2019. So what was the product price on particular date? This is what I had to find out using SQL query. And if the product is not there on particular date, so you can set the price as 10 rupees. Okay, 10 rupees, $10, whatever. So this is the question here. Like if you consider soap, you can see there are 3 soaps product is there, and the change date and the price is there. So on 14th of August price was 20 rupees, then 15th and then 16th. So I directly got the price on 16th. So on 16th I had to find, and on 16th the price is 35 rupees. So this is one of the output. Then if we talk about this candle, right, here if you see this candle, the price on 14th was 50 rupees, right, and on 17th it was 65. So there is no price in between. So basically whatever the price was before that particular day was considered or how to say this, like, so here we have 14th, right, on 14th it was 50. So 14th, 15th, 16th it was 50 because there was no change, that's why there is no entry in the table. But on 17th there was a change in the price, and that is where this becomes 65. But I have to find it on 16th of August, not on 17th. So this means 14th, 15th and 16th, all these 3 days price was same, 50 rupees, and that is where the output should be 50. And if you see the pen, here the price details in the table is starting from 18th of August, but I have to find it on 16th. So there was no price before that one. So that is where this line will come into the picture. Before any changes, that mark this as 10. So this will be the answer. On 16th I will have a 10 rupees. So this is the output. 50, 30 and 10 is the answer output expected here. You will not be explained the question in this detail, so you will have to understand some of the things, and you will have to ask some of the question from the interviewer to exactly know what is the ask here, right? So here you can pause the video and try this question to solve by yourself, and if you cannot, then I have given you the answer, which is this one. So what I have created a logic here is I'll use row number, rank, dense rank, anything is fine here, by, and I am using partition by order and change date. First I am filtering this record. So this is the condition here, that I will be considering only product which has less than 16th of like change data is less than 16th, and whichever is the latest product I need that one, just one record, right? So if you'll see I have filtered out row equal to 1, and since if you see this approach on 16th, if I filter this entire record, this will be gone, right? This record will not be there at all. Let me change the color here. I don't know which color will work here. Maybe this one, right? So this one will be filtered out, but you have to show the price for that one also. So that is where I am making a left join. So basically this is the logic that you can also build by yourself. Initially I had built a different logic, but they asked me to do they asked me to solve in a different fashion, so I solved this question in a 2 ways. Okay, so this was the second question, I think second or third question. Then the next question was a coding question, and in last time also when I was giving interview for Walmart, at 3 years of experience I was asked the same question, and surprisingly this time also it was the same question. So here I had to find a valid parenthesis. Okay, so this is the question, is basically finding a valid parenthesis. Valid parenthesis means if it has an open bracket, then it should have a closed bracket. And if you see here like this one, right, if this is the case, right, so if you see here, this will be false. Why? Because this opening does not have a close. So basically this opening, it should have been here somewhere close. This is opening, this is directly a close, but it should have something open, right? So these are the things that you can see, like how to solve valid parenthesis question on YouTube, or try by yourself if you can. Here I have given the solution, or this is what the solution that I had written. I just copied pasted it from the terminal, not terminal, VS Code, yeah. And you cannot write pseudo code here, you will have to write a fully running code. Basically it should compile properly, compile or interpret properly, and you should get the output. So no pseudo code here, you will have to get the result whatever the question is, right? So this is the solution that I have given. If you want to try, you can try this one also. Here the only thing I can say is I have used a stack. Stack is something which works on LIFO manner, like last in first out, and sometimes you can get a question of queue also that works on FIFO, first in first out. I am not explaining all the nitty and gritty details of the question, I am just talking about the question that was asked to me. So that was it for the round 1. Now coming to the round 2, it was a system design round. Okay, so this was a system design round, and here they asked me to design a e-commerce platform related to data side. So if this, so this was the question, that is it. They gave me one-liner question that you have to design a e-commerce platform related to data side. Now whenever we are going to the system design round, we have to understand the question, get the requirement. So that is why they gave the open-ended questions, so that you can gather all the information, and they will understand about you, that how you think, how do you solve the question, how do you approach the problem, right? That is where the requirement gathering, solving the questions, open-ended question. If you don't have solutions, how will you come to approach and solve this particular question, right? This is what they want to see. Of course, no system can be built in 1 hour, right? So here requirement gathering, and that is where I started gathering some requirement, like what is daily active user, what is the scale, how much data volume will be there. So these are the things that I was trying to understand. And also I asked what kind of data side you want to talk about, like are you trying to build an analytical system or a transactional system, right? By mistake he said transactional system, but he meant an analytical system, and that is where our entire discussion went into another direction, and I had a little bit of hiccups in the interview. That happened because of the one question that I asked, right? That they wanted to build an analytical system, but they said transactional, and I started talking about transactional system, like SQL, NoSQL, how many read will be there, how many writes will be there. So those are the things, latency, consistency. So these are the things that was started discussion with, right? But soon I realized they don't want this kind of solution. They are looking into analytical system, and that is where I'm saying they means he. Basically, sometimes I said they, but he, like just one interviewer was there. Okay, and yeah, so I started building the solutions around analytical system. That is where login table, orders table, shipping table. So here also there was another level of confusion. Like I asked, what exactly you want me to build? Like e-commerce is a very big topic to discuss, right? So you want me to build a login system, or not login, of course, orders table or inventory table, shipping table, what kind of things you want me to track? He said track all of those things, and that is where again I was confused. But I started talking about all the tables details and all the primary key foreign key relations, and then will it be one to many, one to one. So those kind of details are being talked here. So see, in login table I am saying one to many will be there. Of course, one to many with which table? So I was explaining at that time. I haven't written all the details, but yeah, these things are there. And then order tables will also have one to many with whom, like is it a customer, is it a order, this is a shipping, which one, right? A dimension, right? All the dimension table. So all of these things will be easy for you if you know about dimensional modeling properly, right? And if you want to understand dimensional modeling in a proper manner, you can follow Data Warehouse Toolkit by Kimball. Okay, Data Warehouse Toolkit. This is the book that I have followed. If you understand Hindi, you can go to my channel also. There are two channels. This one is in English, and there is another one is in Hindi. I have given the link in the description, so you can go from there to the channel and understand all the dimensional modeling aspect of it. But that is in Hindi currently. So if you know, then only you will be able to understand. Otherwise, you can learn from the book. Then cart table, wish list table. So all those dimensional modeling and details are getting discussed here. So due to high temperature in my camera, this gets shut down each and every time. So I'll continue the video after some point in time once that camera is cooled down. Now camera is cooled down and will continue. So here again I'm talking about product table, inventory table, and now since I had a discussion about SQL versus NoSQL in the starting, now he started asking when will you use NoSQL, and I started talking about whenever the search bar is there in the Amazon or Walmart. So here there is a search bar, and if user search something, that is where I am going to use NoSQL, because that will be faster to query the any text that user is providing. So that is where I was talking about the Elasticsearch, because Elasticsearch is text based search NoSQL, right? So that is where this discussion was going on, and then I said like data warehouse toolkit by Kimball, or data warehouse toolkit, or data warehouse MANISH. So if the user are searching for different terms which is not exactly the same what he is looking for, so we'll do text based search and then we'll calculate this one, right? So that is where, and I was also talking about Elasticsearch query that I cannot write right now. In the interview I said I cannot write because I don't remember the syntax. I gave the SQL query for the same one, but yes, of course Elasticsearch has a different way to search that one, like you'll have to write must and then some keyword like text, what we say, key value pair, so key dot something and then you'll get the value, right? So those kind of query that has to be written, but I don't remember, and I don't memorize also, because mostly we can just get it Googled or ChatGPT and we can get the query, right? Yeah, so that was the discussion, and then he started talking about, okay, now talk about how one user can search and get the data. So talk me about the overall end-to-end flow of the services that is going on here. If you don't know about much microservices, so I don't think this question will be there, but yeah, of course some of the questions will be there from this, but not exactly all of the questions, especially the building API code, right? Here I have written some API code which he asked me to do, so I don't think you will be asked to do so, right? So here I am talking about login, authentication, then if the user is success, then it will go to the search button, if he will pass the payload that he was searching for, and then I'll make a connection. Of course connection pool will be there already, so you don't need to make connection each and every time from the database, and then you will get the response, then that response will be passed by the browser, and then you will get the whatever data that you are asking for, right? So this is what I talked about. Then he said, okay, how will you write the API for search at least? So that is where I was using this little bit of code, and that was a pseudo code. Of course this will not run, but yeah, almost it was resembles what we are going to do here, right? So these are the things that I did in the second round. Then I moved to the third round. So whenever you get clear just one round, the next remaining round will be there. So first round is elimination round, and rest of the round will be there. Like if you clear the first round, and then based on that all rounds you will get a cumulative result that you have get selected for this round, or sorry, if you have get selected for this role or not. Now in the round 3 he asked me to write a query to find the number of product in each category. So this question was very confusing at first, because he was explaining question in a different way. So he was saying like I have to find how many category has just one product, the same way 2, 3, 4 and all the way to maybe 99, 100, whatever the number is there, right? So here if you see the question, snacks, right? Snacks has just one product, and beverages also had just one product in this example, right? This means there are two category where the product count is 1. So this is what expected here, right? If you could not understand the question, I'll repeat it. There are two category and each category has just one product. So here it is saying how many categories are there which is having just product count 1. So this is what I had to calculate, and if you see here, product count is 2 for number of category is 1. This is one category where the product count is 2. So this is what the expected one. This is the output that it was expected. It might look something confusing at first, but if you see the answer, it is very easy. It's just a group by twice. If you do a group by twice, you will get the answer. If you can solve it, that's good. If you cannot, just take a pause, think, and then try to solve it. And if even after that, if you cannot solve it, that's okay. You can look at the solution. That is that here I am doing a group by on category, and then I am doing a group by on product count. That's it. This was pretty simple, but understanding this was a little bit of challenge here. It took almost 5 minutes for me to understand and then give the solution. 5 minutes to just understand and then give the solutions, another 5 to 10 minutes, right? So this was the next question where it was asked, I have 100 GB of data to process. So how many jobs will be getting created, stages and tasks will be created. So again, I have a Spark fundamental playlist on my second channel where you can watch the video, but again that will be in Hindi. So if you understand Hindi, you can go through that, or you can watch some other channel where you will come to know about how we calculate job, stages, task, applications, all of these things, right? So that is where I was just explaining, like, okay, we have 100 GB of data, so 1 GB has 8 partition, and then how come this 8 partition is coming? Because 1 GB is 1024 MB, and each data, each partition is of 128 MB by default in HDFS or S3. So that is where this 8 partitions comes into the picture. So total 100, so 800 block of data will be there, or 800 partition will be there. Now I started taking about some examples, like if there is a group by, there will be another 200 partitions that will be getting created. So become total number of tasks will become 1000, because 800 initially it was 800. So each partition will take one task. So all of these concepts I have explained in this video, or else you will have to watch somewhere if you don't understand Hindi, right? So yeah, that is the thing here. And then the next next question was, what if I have a skewness in data, then how will you solve this? So in Spark, if you might be knowing about AQE, right? So AQE handle the skewness in the data, but if AQE cannot handle, that is where we need salting. We had once used salting because we were not able to handle by AQE, or by default it was not getting handled. So that is where I am talking about this, how salting happens and how we can get the exact data with less memory or without getting out of memory issue. That's the same thing I have explained in this video, but again that is in Hindi, so you'll have to watch another video, or you'll have to understand from somewhere else if you don't know about salting in Spark. Now the next question is, write an SQL query. This question I don't remember at all, so I'll skip this question, but yeah, this was the question and I don't remember what exactly it was asked. But yeah, this one also was a tricky one, and I think this was the last question for the round 3. Yes, this was the last question, where it was asked to design a unified schema table with the feeds from multiple sources. So I am getting data from multiple sources and I want to make it standardized. I want to make it store the PII data in a very secure manner, and all the columns will be mapped somehow, right? So this is the question, and this was the entire question that he gave to me. Like, first you are getting data from multiple streams, and then output stream he want a table which have all source data. What all things has to be done? Filtering has to be done, PII data has to be taken care, and all the junk emails, phone numbers, standardization has to be done, or nullification has to be done. So these were the questions that was given by the interviewer, and I started again gathering some so after that I started gathering some requirements, and here if you see a question I asked to understand how my basic solution will look like. So I started talking about, okay, where do you want me to store the data? Sometimes you might you directly jump into the solution and say I am going to store data in S3, but what if they already have a HDFS in place or ADLS in place? So don't assume anything, just ask, right? This is the simple thing that you can do for gathering requirements. And then I started talking about, I don't remember, factory method, and then some thing I discussed, and then I talk about, okay, df1 will be there, then no deletion will be there, then mapping, and then unified. So basically all those discussion were happening. I don't remember all of the things, but yeah, this is how I gave the flow. And here if you see, I have written some of the code also. This was in PySpark. Okay, so some of the time they will ask you to write a PySpark also, some of the time they will ask you to write a Spark SQL or plain SQL. That's fine. So here I am doing union of multiple data, then I am dropping something, then making standardization. I think I am also talking about user defined function. So these are the things that was being discussed, and then finally I am writing somewhere data in based on some discussions, right? So this was the flow that was expected here, and this was the discussion. So this was the round 3 question, and then in round 4 it was a managerial round where they were asking me all the behavioral questions like what if you have a conflict with your teammates, and who is your role model. So this kind of questions, I don't remember exactly all the questions, but yeah, this was mostly related to project questions, and some of the questions were related to behavioral questions. So I think this is the first video that I have shot on this channel is behavioral interview questions. So you can go through the video and watch all the questions. I have almost 10 questions, and surprisingly all of the question was asked from these 10 questions. So yes, you can go ahead and prepare all those 10 questions, and that's it. So this was all of the questions that were asked to me, and I got finally selected. Because of some reason I couldn't join them, but yeah, I got selected. So that was it in the video. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.